DNC was, thank you very much. Day 2 was one for the history books because it is very clear now Hillary Clinton is, in fact, the nominee for the Democrats. And Hillary's husband and former President Bill Clinton did what most first ladies to-be have to do for their husbands. He did it for his wife yesterday, and he took the stage to reveal a little bit of their history together. Take a look. Now, there were some critics. Rachel Maddow said that his repeated use of the word girl at the top wasn't the most feminist way to start things off.
Yeah.
I didn't think he had to be feminist. I think he was talking about his life with his wife, his girl.
And you gotta be personal.
You know, yeah. Well, that's what the first ladies have to do. And say, my husband, my man was so good to me. He's so nice.
I think it really humanized her. I love that he called her his girl. I would love it if my husband said, my girl. I mean, it just shows that they've been married over 40 years. And I think it showed a deep friendship. I think it showed a deep commitment. And I think it showed a deep respect and admiration for her life's work. And that was key.
But it's 2016. We're not girls. We're men.
For him, that's his girl.
Because whenever we recount history, you look at it through the lens of who you were at that time. It's kind of like when you look at your grandma's house and it's much smaller than you remembered.
Yeah.
Like at that time, it was a girl and a boy, and that's I don't think we should ask for personal and then make it PC.
But he could have said
Asking for
the
your
first
story,
line
you know?
was I met a girl, but then he kept saying
But it's his, that's his girl.
Yes.
It's her
But she was a young woman at that time. She was in college, and he didn't say I was a boy who met a girl.
But it also probably seemed like so long ago. Like when you hear the history they had, when you look back, maybe at the time she was a woman to him, but when you look back on it,
my God.
yeah.
What does it matter? My God.
But the thing I did learn is
He didn't say my bitch. Yeah. I mean, it's like, come on, relax.
See, I don't think he humanized her in that moment. I think he humanized himself. I think that when I started watching that, I remember why I liked Bill Clinton, which is that he's a great politician. In much the same way that Ronald Reagan was a great politician, he's the kind of guy that can get out there. And no matter what he does, you kind of like him. You kind of want to sit and talk to him. But when he started the speech, I felt like I was listening to this great story about how Bill Clinton is great at picking up a girl, which we all know based on his history.
Well, he
got disgraced in the Oval Office for that.
He wasn't that great at picking her up because he had to ask her to marry him 3 times. She played pretty hard to get, and I thought that was a credit to Hillary.
I feel like, though, what Rachel Maddow was trying to say, and I don't want to put words in her mouth, but, speak to her accomplishments. I don't care that, to talking about yourself. But lead with that.
Yeah, but you know what? If he had done that, people would say, well, why isn't it more human? If he had it, it was all about Hillary last night. Bill, you did a nice job. You talked about your wife. Now people know some of her accomplishments, which start way over there and are still going.
Well, he also pointed out that they had a love affair, that it was a love affair. And that's nice.
So beyond that, you said speak to the accomplishments, and you're mentioning whether he comes out of the gates or does after. The thing I liked was the listing of the accomplishments. You talk all the time about do your research, do your research. I didn't know a lot about what he talked about, and to play the critical eye to the Clintons, a lot of people see them as just politicians who are opportunists.
And as one
now
person.
I'm seeing a girl that was a girl.
Yes.
That was only a teenager at the time, in college, that was so driven all the way along. I guess when I envision them, I see them in office, and I just see them as politicians doing this and doing that. Now I see someone that was driven at an injustice in different places, Arkansas, Massachusetts. And each time she was like, well, I'm going to go fix that. That, to me, made me like her a little more, because I hadn't seen that
You
part.
can say what you want about the Clintons, but the fact remains is that both of them have dedicated their lives to public service.
Yes.
That is what they have done. As opposed to their opponent, who has dedicated his life to making money. It's a big difference.
Or people that went to Yale Law.
Make a lot of money.
But these
They have a
people
lot
went
of
to Yale Law
money.
School. They could have done a lot of different things. They could have gone into private practice. They
about
could have
that.
made a lot more money at the very beginning. And to your point, Sarah, think about it. She worked to get children's health care. She worked for children's rights. She worked for women's rights.
That's what pissed everyone off initially with her, is that she had the audacity to work with her husband to try to get help. She had the noise.
She was his partner.
The noise to be talking about. You're just the first thing. You don't know anything about that. They had no idea who they were dealing with. She's an extraordinary woman. Go ahead. I know you want to speak
just
to
this business about the money. I keep hearing this, that they made a lot of money.
It's not a problem for me, by the way. I love that.
When Republicans make a lot of money, everybody's like, yeah.
I'm happy that
They're rich. Donald Trump, one of the things people seem to love about him is that he's rich. And yet the Clintons are not allowed to make money.
No.
And when she gives speeches, and these people want to pay her $300,000 a pop, what, is she going to say no?
No, there's a reason for that, though. Because the reason is that then you have oftentimes those very same people on the left who make a lot of money condemning people who make a lot of money and saying, if you get up to this tax bracket, we're coming for your money.
No, you don't know.
That happens a lot.
How they make their money, though, I think what I was hearing in your answer was that not on the backs of other people did they make their money. They did it in the name of those people. And I think that's the
When they say that these people have made a lot of money and they go after them, as you say, they want them to pay their fair share of taxes. They have all sorts of ways of hiding the money.
Yeah, but you know what? Those people are, and you can't condemn. I mean, look, Donald Trump. I'm not going to speak to his character, but he's a businessman. I mean, that is an accomplishment. There are plenty of people out there. That is an accomplishment as well. One thing I just want to say, though, I think for this, a lot of the discussion has been about whether or not Bill Clinton would be a good advocate for her, and I think the answer is yes. I think what I heard last night was that yes, he introed with himself. I didn't think that was the best decision, but he speaks to her accomplishments well in the same way that I think Michelle Obama was a great advocate for President Obama.
Lauren Manning, the 9/11 survivor, remember her? She had burns all over her body. She said, this is the cameras, very crucial point, not because anyone was watching, but because that is who she is. She had my back. I think that is even more important than what he said, that people need to see that she's not this calculating witch they've made her on the Rush Limbaugh show or whatever else you're listening to on Fox.
Well, you know what made me... To your point, Joy, I thought what Manning had to say, what Lauren Manning had to say was really poignant. But what struck me was what the congressman had to say, which was after 9/11, the firefighter's brother, after 9/11, rather than do what Hillary was doing, which was visiting people in hospitals, trying to get health care for people, Donald Trump cashed in on a $150,000 check to help small businesses. It was earmarked to help small businesses. Where was Donald Trump, the native New Yorker, after September 11th?
He was at the bank cashing the check.
That's right, he was.
Well, I will say that some people were very upset that Bill didn't go into the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
You know, well, okay, so unless there's a lot to say about it, can we just say it wasn't his night? It wasn't his to discuss. He was there to discuss her. And why would you say, and you know, in the 90s, you know, when I had that affair with that woman, my wife.
It was fabulous.
Well, I mean, it's not how you do it. You know?
Of course you don't do that, but what I thought was interesting, the people that are coming after him for saying that he didn't talk about those affairs, listen, marriage is hard. Marriage is about compromise. Marriage is about forgiveness. They're supposed to be about family values, and marriage is staying together. Then shouldn't they think that this is a marriage that stuck it out after all of that?
I can explain this to you. It's all good when it's them. Okay, now,
Donald Trump didn't stick it out.
Hold on.
Yeah, he stuck it out.
You know, he's had, you know, Bill and Hillary have been married for years. Democrats, Democratic women, Republican women, and Republican men have used this for years. Why is she still with her? I don't know if I can stay with her. Well, you know what? None of your business. They're still together. Where's your marriage? Take care of your business. Yeah. And if you can last as long as they have, God bless you, but otherwise,
you don't hear it from the likes of Newt Gingrich, who told his wife goodbye while she was recuperating from cancer. You don't hear it from him.
Yeah. But that's not the argument, though, that people are making. The argument is, of course, Bill Clinton wouldn't come out and talk about this. It would be ridiculous for him to do that. The argument is that they view Hillary Clinton as an advocate, supposedly, for women's rights. She's come out and said, victims of sexual assault, you should be believed. You should be heard. The argument is that when those women came out, she took them down in many respects. That's still good.
We'll come back, because we have to now clear this up.
Coming up, the tennis superstar who said menopause tore her marriage apart.
One of the things we discovered in the midst of the conversation is that we had this exact conversation like 2 weeks ago.
Yes,
so we're not going to go back into it, because we did it, we talked, we did it, so we're not going to do it. But I am going to point out that Sonny's mom is sitting right there, and she's brought her red hat ladies. And the ladies of the red hat brought me a red hat. This is the only way I can wear it, because my head is humongous. So it has to be, look at this.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
But that's in the fun. Keep on you.
All done.
I love it.
So, back to business. They really put an exclamation point on the history. That too much focus on the woman aspect is not a good selling point. It could turn people off. But I think you can't really get around it. She's a woman. It's the first time, and everybody's kind of like,
But Nancy's basically saying, you know, don't vote for someone just because she's a woman. That minimizes her talent. I agree with that.
we've been saying that for months.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to vote for Sarah Palin. I've said this before, just because she's a woman. You vote for Hillary because she's competent, and the other side is a threat to civilization.
Well, true, but
What is it? Am I too wishy-washy on this topic?
I agree.
I feel you could be clearer.
I agree that you shouldn't vote for someone just because they're a woman. But what about the fact that she's supremely competent and also a woman? Because I think that women need to vote in their self-interest, and the global scholarship shows time and time again that women in political office make it a priority to advance women. Women's rights, women's equality, opportunity for young girls. And so when you're voting, you want to vote for things that matter to you.
Yes, but
So why do you not?
Well, because the problem you run into is the problem that folks had with Obama. He's not doing enough for black people. He's doing too much for black people. And so once you make that the focus, it becomes, well, you should be doing this for us. What you should be doing if you're voting is voting for the person who can get the job done. That's really what, and she happens to be a woman.
Nancy Pelosi was saying when she was asked those things that in her own career she felt that she didn't ever want anyone to picture as, oh, and she's also a woman. And I think that's a great thing, actually.
But she also wasn't a first.
No.
She wasn't a first.
No.
And this is whether you like her or not, it's the first.
But I think what she's saying is I think it's polarizing to come out of the gates and say, well, I'm a woman and I'm great. You don't need to say that because you're great and you're accomplished.
It's presumptive of you to even think that any woman would be voting for women's rights. That's not true.
Well, but if you look at the global scholarship, I mean, there was a study, 31 countries were looked at, and it's a statistic that the higher the proportion of women lawmakers, the greater the number of laws enacted to advance gender equality. I mean, those are just the pure facts. Those are the statistics. And so I don't understand why that is a negative.
They make it, because it makes it an issue that you don't need to make it. If she is able to become the president, she's everybody's president, not just the president of women. And the idea that she is the first is why we celebrate it now, because it's like, listen, who was it? Shirley Chisholm, Geraldine Ferrara, and I can't think of the other woman. 3 women. In my lifetime, 2 women have run for president. This is the first time. And I was thinking about it last night because my mother, had she lived, would have lived to see a man of color in office and then a woman. If God willing, it happens. It is historic. So to say it, but not to drive it. It's not the driving force behind it, I think.
I think there is a lot of pressure, though, and I'm glad you brought up Sarah Palin, because I remember when Sarah Palin was front and center, a lot of people on the right, a lot of women, felt that they were obligated to support her because she was a woman. And I think many people on the left feel that way.
We tried to help them.
But it's like, just because somebody has ovaries doesn't mean I'm going to support you. And I think if I were Hillary Clinton, I would make my gender the least important part of my campaign. If she hasn't made gender. No, the Clinton campaign put ads out saying that, young girls should vote for a woman because it's historic. And I've heard her make comments about if I were shouting, sometimes people don't know how to handle a woman who shouts. She throws that out there.
Wait. You do remember what that came from, right? You do remember that was off of a nasty comment by Donald Trump. About her shouting. No, about shouting.
That is true.
And then I'm sorry. Go ahead,
That's true, but I made that point one night. She was on the TV, and I said, why is she yelling at me? And I'm not anti-feminist, or I don't hate women. I have ovaries.
I'm just saying,
yelling at me.
I'm saying to you, you might have felt that way, but he said it. He made it about her being, in between the lines, it was about, a loud shouting woman. That was his comment.
The way I feel about it, if she happens to get elected, and in that process, she shatters a ceiling, amen, good for that. I would love to see that accomplishment.
What, are you going to vote for her?
I'm not going to vote for her because I don't like what she stands for, but what I'm saying is,
You don't like that she stands for childcare, women's rights, gender equality, deceit. You don't like her policy? You don't like her policy?
I don't like the
You
deceit.
think you don't like
I can't vote for a liar. I can't vote for a liar. I'm not going to vote for a liar.
I told you yesterday about that. Zebediah, I asked you yesterday if you've never voted for a liar. Unless you're 12 years old, you have.
I know too
There you
much.
go.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. So tennis legend Chris Everett says, apparently, more women need to start talking about menopause because she claims it got so bad it broke up one of her marriages. And she didn't get specific about how, but, you know, I can see how it could happen.
I can't
How do you think it happened?
Well, it's hormonal, right? So I compared it to pregnancy and stuff.
It's hormonal, it's just body function, it's, you know, sometimes it's age and your priorities change and you don't want it all the time.
I believe it.
Sometimes you don't want it at all in the week.
I've seen a really ugly side of hormones, so I'm just going to extrapolate from my experience.
Of hormones.
I've seen a very ugly side through my pregnancy that I believe that I've gone to some dark places in that time, so I would believe this could break up a marriage.
Well, everyone's just sex life. Is
It
what
can,
it is.
yeah.
So does having a baby.
Everyone's just sex life.
How does it ruin you know nothing about, okay.
Well, I'm not in menopause yet. I haven't thought about it. I mean, when I often think about it, I'm like, I've been getting my period since I was 11. When will it end?
It's going to end, and when it does,
But I guess I'm going to be upset when it ends. So I don't
there
understand.
are hot flashes involved, and sometimes if you're in bed with someone else, they also have heat. And it's like, get out of the bed.
Really?
Or I'm getting up because it's too much heat, or it's too cold in here, or I just don't know who you are, or if I like
I told my doctor, I said, the sex is difficult because it's too hot. I'm hot. So he says to me, get on top. Really? So I said, I'm really a little too tired for that. How about if I just get a vibrator and a ceiling fan and call it a day? Call it a day, that's it. And he said, good idea.
very nice. Very nice.
I mean, there
But
are
you are
solutions, is my point.
There are solutions, but sometimes there's nothing you can do. Sometimes there's nothing you can do because, you know, we're all adults. You dry out in places that you've never had to dry out before. And
It's like dried flowers. You know those dried flowers?
no, it's not a dried flower. You're dry. And it's very difficult.
The only thing I can relate to about this, which was interesting,
There's nothing you can relate to.
I can. Here's the thing. I react really oddly to hormones. I took birth control pills for a short period of time, dating a new guy. I went nuts. I was a crazy, psychotic, you want to talk hot flashes, mood. I went crazy.
Listen, a man-made pill is nothing compared to what
that's why
comes
you guys
here.
are scaring me now.
Well, but you have nothing to be afraid of. Listen,
No,
because
I am afraid now.
Why are you afraid? What are you afraid of?
Because when things happen to your body that seem like a person outside, I feel like I was a puppet. When I took those pills, I felt like someone was managing me from the outside, and you're telling me it's going to get worse? I answered those people.
I know. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Deal with it now, so you are preparing your husband for what may be coming.
I have to
See,
find him
this
first.
whole, well, you know, you or whoever you end up living with, cat, dog, doesn't matter to me, anyone you want. But the thing that you have to remember is that you've been going through this all your life. It's what's happening to you. Your evolution is happening all the time. You have hormonal changes going on. This is one that says, listen, now you've done, if you're lucky enough to have a child, you've done that. Your body says you're done. Now, you don't have to worry about wearing white pants. Okay?
That would be nice.
That would be not about wearing white pants.
I would like
You
that.
don't have to worry about, oh my goodness, I don't know if I took my pill today. You don't have to worry about any of that.
Okay.
So you got good times ahead, babe.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Now, you say you should.
Would you say that, Joy? It's good times
Well,
ahead.
it's got good. It's got its points.
Got his point. Got his
But
point.
you know, like Betty Davis said, old age is not for sissies. So just remember that.
Can I ask
Because as you get older, things happen to you.
Do the men in your lives understand it? Because men can't relate to this.
It doesn't happen all at once, right?
There's only one. You have to, wait a second. There's only one man in my life, and I'll call him and wake him up and see how he feels about it.
Like, it doesn't happen all at once. So it's a process, I'm assuming. So
How long does it last?
For some women, it lasts forever. My mom had it for 4 or 5 years. I had it for 2.
Wow. I've had it for 15 years.
So you're kind of getting a long front-end period.
No, I've been done for a long time, but I'm okay with it because the biggest
It is
problem
what it
that you always will find is getting a guy to understand that it's not that you're rejecting him, it's your body is changing. And, you know, that heat stuff is real. You know, you don't want somebody draped on you when you're uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah.
And trying to get somebody to understand that, you have to start early with
This is
them.
why when you have a baby, when you're in your late 40s, I don't know how they even hold a baby.
Yeah.
You want the baby is hot. Babies are hot.
What are they getting? And they're getting out of there. Everything's got up.
I don't know about
We'll be right back. As if it could get any better, it's going to. We're talking about sex dreams when we come back. Yep, you heard me. Have you ever woken up from a sex dream and think, what the hell was that all about? Well, apparently a psychologist breaks it down in a new book called Love Spell.
Well, it's like if you dream about sex with a celebrity that you are, what is it? It means you think you deserve more than you're getting in a relationship.
Really?
Yeah.
But a lot of people dream about Woody Allen. It's a fact. That's a fact.
Is it?
Yes, a lot of people dream about Woody Allen. I read that someplace. So I mean, so what's that about?
It seems like if you have sex with a stranger, it represents masochistic behavior, an indication that your sex life has become mundane and automated.
Wow.
And get this, sex with an ex. This could imply unresolved issues. You may be missing the intimacy that you previously had with that partner, or it could mean that it's coming to terms with the end of that chapter in your life.
I once had a sex dream about an ex years ago. Baby, if you're watching, it was a long time ago, but it was a long time. And I'm one of those people, when I have a dream and I wake up the next day, I live through the dream. So I basically had sex with him the entire next day. Too, with my mind.
Lucky you.
It wasn't a bad dream,
In your mind, she said.
No, but it led me to, like, I thought about, do I want to get back together with him? It was a moment. I take these dreams very seriously.
Well, that's what
yeah, that hasn't happened. But usually when I have a lot of sex dreams, it's because I'm not having enough sex, just to put that out.
Well, I had when I was pregnant, I actually woke up and I was watching Narcos, the show on Netflix, and I ended up having a really good sex dream with Pablo Escobar.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it was the actor who played the drug dealer, but it was really, normally, you know how like you get a sex dream and then it moves on, you're like, no, go back to that one. Like, I woke up and I was like, sweetie, I just had the best night ever with Pablo Escobar. It was so weird. It was so real. I had to tell him, I felt like I had violated everyone in my life.
You dream cheated on him.
When I was pregnant, and I enjoyed it. I really did.
When I was pregnant with my son, I remember having this crazy dream, because I used to watch Maury Povich all the time. I was on bed rest.
Don't tell it's with Maury Povich.
No. And I had this dream where I was in the Maury Povich show, and I had the baby, and then my husband came out, and they said, you are not the father. You're the father. You're the father. And it was this guy named Daquan. And I was like, I'm Daquan. I dated him. It was a whole crazy dream.
You're gonna get. I love that your Maury Povich dream with Oprah. You were like, and you're the father.
It was crazy. But pregnancy dreams are crazy. She makes shows. Yeah. Pregnancy dreams are nuts.
Your face to the whole segment is
What do you have sex dreams?
I have sex, babe.
You win.
But I don't.
Sex together.
I don't. I have it. I have it. Yeah. And I have it with things that move. And I have it with people. But I don't ever have it when I don't know I'm having it because it's somebody is not supposed to be in my dream. I don't do that. That's not it.
Some people say that dreams are just flat brainwaves. They have nothing to do with anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
It's
So
not
what happens
Freudian.
if you give birth to a dog? What does that mean?
Yeah.
In your dream.
Right.
I mean, you have if you want to talk about crazy dreams, there are crazy dreams, but if you start saying, well, that's what this means, then you get to the well, then no, does it mean I'm not having my dog mad at me because I didn't, breastfeed it? I don't know.
It's a good way, if you're in therapy, it's a good jumping off point. Like I had a dream last night, I was having sex with a... And, you go from there. Like, do you have a dog? Do you find the dog attractive? Are you dating a guy who's very furry?
Right.
You see what I mean? You keep going along like that, and then you come to the conclusion that you're out of your mind.
That's a lot. We'll be right back. A New York dentist is reportedly suing at least 4 of his former patients for writing bad reviews about him on Yelp. Now, some people think that's a good thing. Some people think it's a bad thing. What do you think?
I do use Yelp. I mean, yeah, if I'm going to go get a manicure at a new place or a pedicure at a new place or go to a new restaurant, I Yelp it right away because I almost feel like people that are reviewing it aren't getting paid to do reviews. I feel like it's transparent and it's sort of a consumer experience.
So if you were getting heart surgery, I know you call your husband, but would you check Yelp first?
No.
For a heart?
No.
Okay, so
no.
Well, maybe.
it's a dentist,
yeah.
and so I wonder if that puts it in a different light because I mean
I might Yelp a dentist.
You know.
I Yelp the vet. That's how I found my vet for my baby.
Yeah, but right.
I know that,
Kids,
I'm
I
kind
know.
of obsessed with my dogs. So that's the only, I didn't know anyone where I lived. And so I looked it up and read a lot of those and kind of pieced together an idea of where I wanted to take them.
Yeah, but you can make up stuff. Like, I know somebody who was in business in a restaurant, so he calls up his friend and says, tell all your friends to write good reviews on Yelp about my restaurant.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. And then somebody could be annoyed with something like the fork was missing a tine or something.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't
See,
happen.
I always feel, I
And
don't
you
know.
get mad and you trash the restaurant, and then the restaurant goes out of business. I don't think that's fair.
There's also crazy people out there that live to complain about everything. So I hate these. If I want to know if I'm thinking about a vacation or I'm thinking about, I call people I know that I trust their judgment and I know they're not kooky.
Yeah, but if
because
they
some
haven't
people
been
are
there.
just but I mean you don't know whose opinion you're reading or what they. I mean,
And it's your mouth.
Oh,
It's
the
in your mouth. That's a big deal.
I will say this. What's interesting, I did a little bit of research, and this dentist is suing them for defamation. So he's saying what they said wasn't true. But there is the Right to Yelp Bill, which is also known as the Right to Yelp Bill, also known as the Consumer Review Fairness Act, which prohibits inclusion of like gag clauses in consumer form contracts because they think that companies are trying to silence their customers.
Yeah.
Isn't that fascinating?
Well, but if you want to complain about somebody or something or the service that you got or that your teeth didn't come out the way that you thought they were supposed to come out and you didn't get any help, I mean,
Should you be able to do that?
You should be able to do that.
Is there a Better Business Bureau or
Well,
something?
That's what these people used to
That's
know.
what
Now they just
now they do it right there.
Now
Yeah.
Yelp,
Yeah.
a little easier to find on Yelp.
I feel like you have to be able to speak your mind. It's just a matter of how much trust you put into that site that you look at. So, I mean, if I write a book and there's a whole bunch of negative reviews, I'm not going to sue people for defamation if they write a bad review. But at the same time, if you hate my book, you have a right to say, I hated your book.
You have a right.
So,
Reviews carry a lot of weight, but I do it on everything I buy. Like a lot of times when you buy something, if it's true to size or if it's weird and people are like, you know,
Didn't you write your little reviews?
no, I wish I did. I should give back. I'm a taker. I get hurt, but I read things a lot.
I mean, think about it. Would you Yelp a gynecologist?
I might.
Really?
I might. Yeah.
That is crazy.
I want the
I
feedback.
don't even know if I can eat. I don't know what to say to your daughter.
I want the feedback. I want the information.
But you
and
don't know that you're getting. You don't know if you're getting real feedback from real people.
But it's going to be part of the picture you're creating.
I can
No,
create
have you not? Have you not? Okay. What I want you to do is there's been several articles on people reviewing things that reviews haven't been real.
Yeah, see,
It's a
that
huge,
concerns me.
it's a,
I didn't
it's
realize
a huge
that.
deal. And you have to be, I mean, I wouldn't want you to, I like Yelp. I go if I want something to eat. But to take care of your body?
Yeah.
No, baby, that's not the, don't you go to WebMD or something? Who does WebMD?
I diagnose so many things.
I have my internet.
I'm a doctor at this point.
Same here.
And I've been near death many times with WebMD.
Oh my God, I have it. And on that note, we'll be right back. So we had a breaking news story that we just wanted to make you aware of. Apparently, Donald Trump said, Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. Mr. Trump said directly, staring into the cameras, I think you will probably be mightily rewarded by our press.
That's reported by the New York Times.
It's the New York Times is saying this. So
he's inviting a
there's all
superpower
kinds.
to
Yeah, I was just about to say it.
Comrade Donald Trump.
So, but not only is that, but all right. Go ahead.
On a much lighter topic, we'll be live on Facebook after the show, so join us, post your questions and comments, and we may read them. We're going to be talking about Mariah Carey and her entrance song and a lot of fun things that you walk into.
And I'm going to the Democratic Convention right after the show, so we'll have some footage tomorrow.
Well, it's never dull. We want you to have a great day. Take a little time to enjoy everything you come upon.